50% of people don't show up. Like, you're going to win 50% of the battle by showing up. The other 50% of it, we're going to work on you. We're going to train you. We're going to give you all the tools you need. You're going to have 6 screwdrivers in your pocket. But guess what? Each one of those screwdrivers is going to be different now. They're going to be a different size with a different tip, with a different. They're going to help you go through these rebuttals because you're going to meet different clients in different situations and have different rebuttals. And I'm going to prepare you for that. And through the preparation, I think agents don't want to be prepared anymore. They don't want to be told what to do anymore. They want to just have this. They want to be the entrepreneur, where they want to be the entrepreneur, but live that lifestyle, but not put in the work that goes into that lifestyle. That's the problem.
Alrighty, so we're live, not live, but we're recorded, but we've been recording, but I'm here again. It's been a busy Monday, as it always is, and we've got a special guest on today, which is always a special treat. Adam, I appreciate you setting it up. Aaron, why don't you introduce yourself? Let us know who's on with us today.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I feel blessed and honored to be here, and I know you guys are doing big things. I've been following along in the background. I go by Arizona Aaron just because there's so many Aarons out there, or they call me Aaron. They're one of the two. So I try to go with that Arizona Aaron. So it's just a different flow of that Aaron feel. But it's working for me. Just go to conferences and just kind of promote that. Obviously, I'm with a company called One Roof. It's just another entity of one of the things I'm a part of, just a licensed agent in Arizona, and working towards helping a lot of families this year. And that's part of my mission, is helping 40 families this year. And that's kind of a really big goal. It's going to be putting me in the top 0.05% of people that in production. So I'm really excited to try to achieve that goal. And there's a lot of support around me, which is what I think it takes to be really successful in life, is to have a really good support system or a support circle. And right now I have that. And they're not only do I have it, but they're like pushing me, right? And they're pushing me to be beyond my thinking and beyond the levels that I thought were normal. So like, I call it pushing me beyond normalcy and making me see a grander vision, because at first it was like, well, I'm going to help like 10 families. And they're just like, oh, okay. So like not even one a month, right? Like just kind of that average type of production. I'm like, that should be great. And they're like, no, like you got to put yourself in a position. And I just thought deeper and deeper about not wanting to be transactional and have a bigger focus and a bigger mission. And so this year is just all about helping these families. And that's me. Arizona Aaron.
Awesome.
How long have you been doing real estate now?
So I first started investing in real estate kind of when I moved to California back in like 2003. Started up a small little company and we sold Sprint and tried to invest it back then. And then I've been representing buyers and sellers and investors in Arizona just about over 5 years. Been with a couple different brokerages through the time. So I got to learn the different systems and processes and really got to kind of focus and hone in on something that was going to be my style. But at the same time, the people that were around me were going to drive me and motivate me. So about 5 years on the residential retail side. And then now I do like fix and flip projects. I'll do some remodel projects. I'll help people with like wholesale space stuff. So they're trying to acquire wholesale, subject to and novations. So kind of a lot of like the creative space now is like some of the things that I focus on too. So it's like the more tools that you kind of have in your tool belt, kind of, I guess maybe same in your guys' industry, the more tools that you kind of have, the more production you could do because you can offer more solutions to people. And so, yeah.
So
long-winded answer.
Oh, good. On average, how many houses does your average realtor sell in a year?
That's a good question. I think the average right here in Arizona is like 4, 5. I think like the average, because there's like 54,000 agents in Arizona, approximately about 40,000 in the Phoenix Valley. They use the whole 80-20 rule. About 80% of them are not doing as much production. So the 80%, the majority are either part-time, they're doing another job, they're doing, they're focused on helping their family and growing other avenues of their life. And then I would say the 20% of them are actually doing production. And that ranges anywhere from, one to probably like 100. Um, and it's there's a lot of team stuff going on too, right? So in real estate, there's a lot of teams. So it's like one person might be like a team leader, and because of that, they're doing 160 homes a year because they're a
Mhm.
team leader, but they might only be self production 10. So it's just kind of hard to say in that sense. But on the average, residential real estate agent is like doing like 4 to maybe 7 transactions a year, and they're happy with that, right? They're making their 50, 60, $70,000 a year, and they're kind of like, hey, this is better than being a teacher or doing whatever I was doing before. So I'm happy. But once you join a team or you join a production company that's focused on production and growth, then you could see those bigger types of opportunities.
Adam, would it be safe to say we're a production company then? Like we're not really built out for the 1 or 2 a month kind of producer where we kind of really call on and ask of and hold folks we work with to a pretty high standard ourselves.
Yeah, I'd say maybe it's a little bit different where, well, maybe you could compare it almost to like investment sales, like annuities and stuff like that, where, if someone's strictly focused on annuities, I mean, there's a lot more relationship building. You're not going to write, at least most people, they're not going to like write an annuity every single day. Uh, our business, when we focus on the final expense, yeah, we get that immediate sale. It's like a one call close. We see that person one time, and the goal is to make that sale be in and out of there. Where, yeah, like an annuity, it takes a lot of that relationship building. Someone's not just going to hand you a $500,000 check when you just show up at their house. You got to build that trust. You got to build the rapport. And I think that probably similar to like real estate, where, and again, I mean, heck, when people are looking at homes, I mean, they're probably looking all over the place at houses and probably dealing with multiple people. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of competition out there too, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, there's an absolute ton of competition, right? I mean, we call it every Tom, Dick, and Harry, right? There's everybody's out here. They say out here in Arizona, if you don't have a friend who's a realtor, you probably don't have any friends because there's that many realtors out in Arizona. But it's about developing, a business. Like this is a business, right? What my name, my brand, what I'm running, I run a, I'm just by myself, but I'm on a team. But in my mind, I'm just under my own brand, right? So it's like I'm representing myself every day, and everything I do, all my actions are representations of my brand, not necessarily the brokerage that I work for or the team that I'm on. It's me who's doing it. So I just hold myself to a really high standard. And then kind of like what you said, not only do I hold myself to this high standard, but I hold everybody around me. They say something about that with like the
R-
tides rise or whatever,
Rising
right?
tide
Like,
raises all ships.
so it's like I'm just around to uplift and to just give. But I also know at the end of the day, that you got to take care of Papa Bear first, right? Then Papa Bear takes care of his little family and his little cubs. And then after Papa Bear can take care of that, his stress at home is relieved. So now he can go out into the field and he can go hunt and he can go gather and he can go get everything done, knowing that he's going to come home to safety. He's got everything under control. And then you start developing yourself through your life, whether it's through developing a stronger religion or a stronger relationship with your family or whatever struggles you are, that's going to get you to the next level. And there's just so many levels to everything. But every time I see these agents have huge brokerage with 10,000 square foot office guys, huge. And it's like sometimes there's 2 agents in there on a Friday at 2 o'clock. And I'm like looking at my guy, and we have the headphones on, we're dialing, we're tuned in, we call it, we're plugged in, we're going, we're prospecting, We're like, all right, we said we're going to prospect 4 hours today. And we're like, we turn around, there's nobody in the office. We're like, geez. And everybody's wondering why like our pipeline's constantly going, and and maybe not everything's popping, but it's like pop, 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 pop. And it's just like, well, yeah, we're prospecting every day. Like we are outbound prospecting just like any other business. But a lot of people I don't know about your guys' business, but with the amount of freedom that they get, there's nobody to tell them what to do. So there's nobody really holding them accountable. So the only way to hold them accountable is themselves. And the only way you're going to hold yourself accountable is if your why is big enough. And when your why is big enough, if your why is big enough, then you're going to work it hard enough. And if your why is big enough, when you work it hard enough, you're going to win
I agree. E-
and you're going to help your
Explain
family.
explain real estate prospecting, because for the insurance folks here, we buy leads. Someone expressed a modicum of interest in what we sell. We go out and see them, yada yada yada. Pretty simple. But what is prospecting in real estate?
Mm, mm. That's gosh, it's very similar to that too, right? So what you guys do is this one avenue, and we're very similar to that. Like we can call leads, we can work with lead sources, right? And like other companies that say, hey, I have a lead for you, and you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours with a referral fee. Open houses, open houses are free. New agents always do open houses. Why? Because it costs you $0, a couple bottles of water. You go to your team, you get some signs. Now you start shaking hands and you meet the community. And then there's you just networking events, going and meeting networking events. But you really got to niche down, and you got to figure out, I'm going to take a shotgun. I'm going to shoot it at the wall. There's 20 different methods of prospecting. I'm going to reach out to the top agents, see what they're doing, get some tips and tricks from them. And then I'm going to attempt. Now, the problem is most people don't attempt them. And it's like, oh, I'm too good to door knock. And I'm like, who are you? You're trying to list these people's $750,000 house, and you're too good to go knock on their door to give them an item of value that cost you $1.97 to print. Like, put two and two together. This is your job. Let's play the statistics and numbers game. Let's play if I hold 7 open houses, I'm going to get 2 clients. If I knock 100 doors, I'm going to get 30 prospects. Those 30 prospects I'm going to put into my system. I'm going to get 10 of them to be interested. Out of those 10, I'm going to get 3 of them to convert. Wow, math. And it's just like, those are the same things that I tell these new agents is like, it's the same thing. Pick up the phone. You don't want to go door knock. You don't want to go hold open houses. You don't want to go network. You don't want to go spend this money. You don't want to go to the gym and pretend that you're rich and have all this to try to do that. You don't want to go do these things. Then pick up the phone and call from our lead pool. It's free, or it costs X amount of dollars in the split, right? Here's free opportunity. Pick something. But you got to pick something, right? I call it outbound prospecting. You just got to pick a method of outbound prospecting that you feel that you can excel at, to where you can build enough confidence to where you can say, hey, if this is a full-time job and I'm going to work 80-20, that's 36 hours or so, 34 hours I'm going to work. So if I'm going to prospect 30 hours and I'm going to work 5 days a week, that's 6 hours a day. So I'm going to prospect those 6 hours a day. And if you commit to that like a full-time job, you'll get full-time pay.
Yeah. Adam, everyone that wrote business in our agency last week bought leads. Like 99.9% of them have a consistent weekly lead order, whatever it is, direct mail, digital, aged lead store. It's all lead generated business. There wasn't a single other person on the production list from last week that wasn't on a weekly lead order. And it's exactly what he's saying. It's just another cross compatible thing in the sales entrepreneurial side of the industry. He's talking about playing the numbers game properly. I don't understand. Maybe I do understand. Why do people get so emotional about a numbers-based business, Adam?
I don't know, and again, we talked so much about this. I mean, it's funny. I mean, Aaron's in a totally different market, but to me, it just sounds like it all comes back to consistency with everything, with having some sort of consistent system, like he said, whether that's just picking up the phone and calling, or whether that's having leads. Uh, you got to be consistent with it. And the more consistent you are with someone, well, we talk about that too. Consistency is also habit forming. And the more, I mean, heck, I mean, our podcast, it's growing and growing because we're consistent with it, putting as much content out there, as many episodes. If I posted one episode every 3 weeks, nobody would be engaged. Nobody would be following. But same thing. It's like the more consistent we are, the better everything gets. I think I almost feel like that's every business.
Yeah. You create a habit in about 28 days. That's about 3 weeks, 4 weeks ish but one day at a time. So when people think they have to make these drastic changes to their business, you just one day at a time for 28 days. And before you know it, you've created a habit. But unfortunately, good habits are hard like that to create and incredibly easy to break. And bad habits, that's not even fair. Bad habits are easy to create and hard to break. Uh, Arizona Aaron, what are some bad habits real estate agents that are actually serious about making money find themselves in before they've even realized it?
What bad habits are they in? Thinking they've achieved a level of success that gives them this right to do something or not to do something. And I think they achieve that way too quickly because the compensation can be high, right? They could change their tax bracket with a couple transactions. And sometimes a big chunk of money like that could change people who they are. And those people who are super kind and super giving and super bubbly and super like just give, 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 they get to a level of success because of that. And some people, they become their own lid and they they're not the same person anymore. They're not the giver, and they're now the taker, and they're the I don't do open houses anymore. I don't need to. I just don't do that. I'm too good for that. Or I don't door knock anymore. I'm too good for that. I don't host events. I'm just so they get this entitlement. That was the word. Sorry, it took so long for me to pull it out of the air. They get this entitlement somehow, some way, some shape, some forward because they get some trophy. Do, do, do. Oh, thank you. I'm so great. I'm so great. It's like, no, you're great that year. You're great that month. It's not what you did for me yesterday. It's what you did for me today. And at the end of the day, is your goal, is what you're really truly providing going to get what you really need. Like for me, I have a family, so I really want these goals of helping these other families. That's my why, and I'm going to achieve it because I have a deep why at home as to why I'm achieving that goal. So every day I go in, I'm pumped and I'm motivated to achieve that goal. And a lot of other people go, well, I'm just transactional. So if I get that one goal or I hit that one pay, I hit that 2, 3 deals in that week, it's like, rah, 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 I hit the 3 deals. It's Wednesday. I could take Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off. Or you're like me, where you're like, hey, I hit my 3 goals already on Wednesday. Just imagine how strong I'm going to finish off this week. I should be able to hit my biggest week ever. And so I think a lot of people lose that sight of like wanting to achieve that next vision because they hit that couple big checks and they're like, yeah, I get to kind of chill. And they lose that internal fire, that internal drive. And I think that's what happens is I think they get that just too quickly, right? The checks just start to become too big, too quick, and they don't know how to, maybe it's a maturity thing. You're right. Maybe it has to do with money maturity. Is that a
Uh,
word?
well, you just made another cross comparison that is ironically identical in our industry. It's that for the people that it comes easy for, it also goes easy for. Like, oh wow, they're brand new to the business and they wrote 10K in a week. Well, that doesn't last very long. The guys that it comes really hard to, that have to work their ass off for 6 weeks just to be able to prove to themselves they can do it. Once they do it, they're just set. But it's also the same way. People, they reach a certain level where they're like, yeah, that's good enough. And then they level off when they really have potential to be a lot better. But it's also difficult because I believe you have to kind of figure out you have to define success for yourself. Like my successes doesn't have to be Adams. It doesn't have to be yours. It doesn't have to be all the other noise makers out there. Like, what is it that exactly defines success for you? And then do whatever is humanly and ethically necessary to achieve that and to maintain that. Because most agents in our industries aren't going to make millions and millions of dollars a year. It's not practical. It's not going to happen. But they deserve to make more than 40 or $60,000 a year. You could do that at a job with a whole lot less stress. Figure out how to get to that 100, 200, $300, $100,000 mark and then own it. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Aaron, too, a little bit about just the real estate market and where it's at currently. I remember when we built our house at the end of 2018. We moved in. Actually, the anniversary. We just moved in 5 years ago yesterday. Like, it's crazy how fast time goes. But at the time that we built, I remember our builder even saying at the time, like, you guys are building at the perfect time because material costs are going to be going up, he said. And well, then now we know too, with interest rates and everything else. I actually I got in our house at like 4.25, and then I refinanced like a few months into COVID down to 3%. And like now that's like unheard of, like to be able to get those sort of interest rates. I'm just kind of curious on the real estate side, the fact that the property values, that everything is so much higher now. It doesn't really seem like it's a buyer's market, especially with the high interest rates. Like, what do you do to kind of be able to survive in a market where I know a lot of people maybe have moved on to do other stuff because it's been kind of difficult?
Mm, mm. No, that's a valid point, right? Our interest rates are much higher than they were before, right? They're double, triple what they were a couple of years ago. I mean, I'm in a similar situation to you where we bought about 5 or 6 years ago, and I think we refinanced right in COVID, and we're at like 2 point something something,
Wow,
and
nice.
we're loving it, right? And we own a majority of the house now, and it's things have changed for us now. Now we have weight to make these big decisions, and now it's like we can pick up another house relatively easily now. But I think what happens is the agents that, and now I don't know if this relates to your industry, but for our industry, the more knowledge, the more power, right? The more solutions you can provide to the client or subject, the more opportunities you're going to have at bat. I think a lot of our agents aren't aware of some of the different methodologies of acquiring assets. They're just say, "Hey, I got trained this way, and so this is how I do it, and this is what I do." And it's like, okay, well, they're subject to properties where we can take over someone else's 2.7999 loan, right? There's just an entry price. You pay a balloon payment in 5 years, and that's when you can get into the property, refinance. And then you're like going into this thing, people are like, what? And it's like, to have that knowledge is, in my sense, is to have another lure in my toolbox, right? I'm going fishing, I'm going to the pond, I know I'm shooting for bass, I'm bringing this last toolbox, but I also got some other stuff too in a bag that is like, hey, I'm going to throw this out there too with it because I know this might work. And I think a lot of the agents don't have those, either that drive to acquire that additional knowledge through books and through videos and through this other stuff, like watching people like you guys and learning from people who have been in it, or two, they're just not willing to break out of their traditional molds. They're in these habits already, like you said, they formed these habits already, and now they're stuck into those habits, so that it's just hard for them to break through that ceiling of their habits. The tools are out there, right? Just because the interest rates are high, people are still moving, dude. Like, rental rates are going up, right? Rental rate is 2,400 for your family. To buy a house is 2,600. What are you going to do? We'll try to buy a house, 200 extra bucks a month. We'll figure it out, right? So that's what America's doing right now. They're figuring it out. They're figuring out ways to get in. But the good thing is new home constructions, they're letting people get in for 4%. They're letting people get in for 5%, right? Lenders are getting creative. They're doing things called 3-2-1 buy downs, 3% off for the first year, 2% off for the second year, 1% off for the third year. So if you got a 6-7% rate, now you're at a 4% for the first year. You're at a 5% for the second. You're at a 6% for the next year. Hopefully, rates can figure out a good way to kind of come down a little bit, and you could refinance into that period. So just having that knowledge, and I don't think you can do it alone, right? If you haven't been in the business right now 20 plus years and you don't have a support circle or somebody you can lean on weekly, daily, that can motivate you, that can inspire you, that can make you want to achieve greatness, you're not going to do it in this business, right? You got to show up. Most of the people are not showing up. Show up to the office, get to work, put like I tell this, my guy, he's going to be here at 10 o'clock on the dot, guaranteed. He's going to be here, and he's going to be chilling over there and having his coffee and relaxing. But he knows, it's like, just show up, just 50% of people don't show up. Like, you're going to win 50% of the battle by showing up. The other 50% of it, we're going to work on you. We're going to train you. We're going to give you all the tools you need. You're going to have 6 screwdrivers in your pocket. But guess what? Each one of those screwdrivers is going to be different now. They're going to be a different size with a different tip, with a different, they're going to help you go through these rebuttals because you're going to meet different clients and different situations and have different rebuttals. And I'm going to prepare you for that. And through the preparation, I think agents don't want to be prepared anymore. They don't want to be told what to do anymore. They want to just have this. They want to be the entrepreneur. They want to be the entrepreneur, but live that lifestyle, but not put in the work that goes into that lifestyle. That's the problem.
Yeah. Two
And
comments, and then I'll shut up from here. I think people get to a got it moment in their entrepreneurial journey, be it selling homes or selling insurance, and they either settle into that got it stage forever, or they accept the 3 branches they can evolve into in our business: annuities and grassroots marketing, like owning a local area and really nesting themselves in and writing high business. Medicare. God, why is a final expense agent not doing Medicare? I don't know, but that's what you evolve to past the got it moment. Or agency building. Like, you just have a great warm market, a great personality, a great ability to train and replicate. You got it. Now you need to give it to somebody else. And I also think, and we've said it probably twice a week at this point, just show up. Like, the agents, the real estate agents, the insurance agents, everything on earth could be going wrong in your life, but you're still more equipped than the person you're in front of to help them with what they need. Just get there. The rest will work itself out. And if everything else is going wrong in the background, it isn't going to get better if by not showing up, it's going to get worse. So, like, at least step away from it for 8 hours. It'll still be there. And then it'll be better because at least you'll have some money to be able to manage the problem. There's nothing worse than being stressed out and broke at the same time. Then you can't fix anything.
Well, I think Aaron, he talked about kind of focusing on solutions rather than on the problems.
Yep.
And yeah, the fact that interest rates are high and the costs of properties are high. Well, he figured out a way to still make it work. And I think that, I mean, heck, that even, and I would maybe compare in our business, and I'm sure the real estate business too had difficulties as well. But back when COVID came around, when we couldn't leave our houses, I mean, we had to adjust. It's either you figure out a way to make it work, or you have to move on and do something else. And there's a lot of guys in our business too, maybe that are no longer in the business. That COVID came around, they just couldn't figure out a way to adjust. So it's kind of same thing, like Aaron said, he just had to figure out ways to adjust, figure out different ways. People are still buying houses. People's families are still getting bigger. I mean, heck, when we moved, our family was getting bigger. My wife was pregnant when we were moving in here. So it was like, heck, we would have had to move either way. It wouldn't have mattered what the property prices were, what the interest rates were. We would have had to figure out a way to make it work. And I'm sure that there's a lot of families out there in the same predicament that they know they need a move. It doesn't matter what, that's just the current place that we're at in the country, and just kind of have to go with it.
Yeah. Bring me problems all day, but I'd like to see a solution as well. Not just a problem with just a problem is just complaining. Like,
Yep.
what's the solution? Like, let's figure out a solution. Maybe we don't know a solution, but problems without solutions are just bitching.
Aaron, real quick, you mentioned before Chris came on, you were starting to talk a little bit about your office, or like all this stuff that you have like written down, and tell me a little bit about that.
You want to see it?
Sure.
All right, we'll make it quick, and then I'll put it back, and then I'll explain it.
Okay.
So right here, those are all my scripts. These are all my like mission statements, different scripts for every client base, every type of client. I have some goals on what I need to say, when I need to say it, how to say it, tonalities. And here's my whole year calendar. As you can kind of see right there, the calendar's only got like the first 6 months because I'm really trying to work out month 7, 8, and 9 already. But I got like my commitment, my mission statement, pretty much all the scripting you could think of, my kid, my family, my different marketing. So just I stare at that all day whenever I'm on this computer. And it's like I get to see my kid, I get to see my family, I get to see directly at this. And then it's like my why, my scripting, for sale by owners, just expired, following up, Zillow leads, my commitment, my mission statement, my marketing strategy, why I'm doing this business. I wrote my like seven reasons of doing the business. Um, and then like my calendar, I've got this whole crazy 12 color kit that I use for this calendar to just go over everything from my buyer consultations, listing consultations, door knockings, open house, tasks. What else do I got? I got 3 different colors for 3 different types of meetings. I've got like my notes from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on what I should be doing every day. I've got notes at every quarter. It tells me what I should have accomplished this quarter, right? I need to have accomplished this quarter. X amount of door knocks, X amount of clients into my system, X amount into my CRM, X amount of follow up. Because in my business, it's like a numbers game. It really, truly is. It's just numbers, 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 numbers. But then it turns into 2 things, right? Numbers mixed in with relationships and solutions, right? Because you can't force people to buy something, but if you can show them how what you have can, you have 3 different products and one of them is a solution for them, you owe them that to give it to them. You're a professional. This is what you do. Like they're coming to you to provide a solution. So you have to do it. And sometimes people don't own their calendars because I'm trying to go to the next level, right? I'm hitting this, everybody's trying to level up in life. And yeah, I'm trying to level up too, right? I haven't hit the pinnacle of success. I want a GT3 RS bad. And then I want to get my wife a brand new fucking truck and car and figure that out for my son. And he's got a situation. So I've got to make sure everything's set up for him and that his life's going to be good. And so the nurses and all the help that we get can all continue. And it's like someone's going to have to pay for this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, okay, at the end of the day, if I got to pay for this, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out a solution for my problem. Right. And then I'm going to take care of my problem first and say, okay, in order to hit my goal, I'm going to need to do 70 buyer consultations because I'm only going to get 40% of those people that are going to transact. The other people are like, I just run the numbers. And then I become very stingent on my numbers. I don't go, oh, I'm going to sell one to every single person that I get the lead. I'm going to go 100. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're going to get a lead. And what you're not going to do is you're not going to call anybody. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call you're going to give me a lead of 10 people. And then you're going to say like, hey, Aaron, did you get a chance to call those people? And I go, yeah, didn't you get the 3-way text message on all 10 of those conversations and the 10 emails on all those things? Like, you got it. You don't need to call Aaron to ask if he called those leads. You know, I did, because those leads are going to provide me with what I need for the solutions for my family. And it's like, I'm going to help 40 families. And if I see at the end of the tunnel, I'm helping a family out, then I'm going, hey, that's one more. And at the end of the 6 months, I'm going to go, all right, am I at 20? Because if I'm at 20, I guess I'm going to the goal. And I've already thought last year, November and December, I said, what does my goal need to be? What does my goal need to be spiritual? What does the goal need to be financially? How much am I going to give back? How much am I going to do this? I broke down all the pillars of my life. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give back more. I gave back last year. I gave back about every 4 months. So this month I'm going to give back every 3 months. And I'm going to give back a few more extra hours. But then I'm going to help other people in my business now. I'm going to help a couple people grow and help those tides rise and help a few other people with me on the way, because they're going to change families. They're going to do that. They're going to give better service to these people. And I think what people lose sight of is the servitude aspect of serving businesses, right? It's all about them. And you stop thinking about you and start thinking about the clients, how you can help them. And if you truly come there to solve a problem, and sometimes you just have to show them that they have a problem. They don't even know they have a problem. They're just trying to find solutions. And they're like, cool, you want to get a house, where at? And they're like, anywhere in the valley, anywhere I can afford. You're like, You got 5 people in your family. You're not concerned about anybody in your family at all living near something, near a school, near a park. Like, so it's the agents that actually care to ask those questions. Like, why are we sitting down today? Why, what are we solving for you? Are you trying to leave something behind for your family, or are you just trying to have them take care of the bills, or are you trying to leave them a little something extra too?
This is it
Okay,
literally
okay.
every possible thing you said is cross compatible today. If that doesn't tell you something, well, it tells you two things. Success leaves clues. And two, if it works here, it works other places. And if we're teaching it and he's saying it, we didn't even plan any of this, it works. And number three, someone's coming to fix my shower in my bathroom, so the dog's about to bark. Find a problem, create a problem, either one of them, as long as it's ethical, and then solve the problem. You said it perfectly. I've said it before. That means it's true.
Sounds good. Well, thanks again. Yeah, thanks for coming on, Aaron. I'd say I just wanted to finish off. Tell us a little bit about like what's your end goal with what you're looking to do long term, and then we'll call it a wrap.
Good thing you didn't say quickly, because I won't answer quickly. No, goal this goal 2024 is just to help these 40 families, right? Help these 40 families stay on that mission, stay focused. It's a really big goal. It's a really big achievement. But through that, I'm going to go through emotions and anxieties that are going to change me as a human, change me as a man. They're going to level me up. Through the giving and through the other plans that I've planned for myself, I know I'm going to level up spiritually, and that's going to take me to another level with my wife and my family and my kids and my relationships. And that's going to take me up to another level. And I'm just going to have such a huge aspiration that I'm trying to figure out a way to do 100 families next year. And through that, I'm going to build teams, and I'm going to train some people and kind of build other people that can create better infrastructure to make sure that the servitude level is at the highest level at all times, through no matter where I'm at. So I don't have these delusions of grandeur that everything's perfect and almighty because of my actions. I'm not going to be one to rest upon my laurels. I'll just prove myself day in and day out. And through that, I think is going to help my family achieve what they need. And through that, I'm going to be able to continue to help more and more families. And that's it. Just continue to help families, and families in an abundance have that abundance mindset now. I used to be scared. I used to call it scared money don't make money, right? And it's, you got to have this abundance attitude. And I'm just going to eat, sleep, breathe this confidence of abundance, and know that if I just go out every day and I become a good man, a good human, respectable, and I like exactly what he was saying. He worded it so perfectly when he defined it, humanitarily and ethically. Like, that is exactly right. Like, if I could just go about that every day and continue to grow myself and then grow those around me, I'm going to hit whatever goal I put in place. But other than that, I don't really have any like financial or any of those other things, because I know everything's just going to come from me helping those families. Everything I want in life is going to happen because of the impact that I'll create. I just believe it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, thanks again, Aaron. I really loved having you on. I think what kind of like what Chris said, boy, it's amazing how much the businesses can correlate with one another. A lot of what you said really makes a lot of sense to even our business. Even, I talk about these young guys that I got kind of getting going in the business too. We talked about that before, I think before we started recording, but uh, same thing. I mean, when you'd mentioned, just kind of talk about having that vision and doing whatever you can to, better yourself and focus on your goals and just do whatever you can to make it happen. And, I know you're going to be successful. I know you already are successful, but, with the mindset that you have, I mean, I think big things for sure are going to happen for you. So thanks again for taking the time with us today. Appreciate you coming on, and look forward to seeing what happens in the future with you and your real estate business.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. And just, I didn't know anything about what we were going to talk about today too, just so everybody knows. Like, this is just kind of is what it is. But I really appreciate the opportunity to chat. And I mean, I've been following you guys and watching your videos because maybe the consistency, because it just comes out and I'm like, ooh, that one's a little different. Oh, that one's a different subject. Ooh, that one's interesting. And then I watch in and then it's like, I feel like I almost evolve as a person, right? Because it's like so entertaining. Like it's like some mornings, I don't know what's more entertaining or better for my life, you guys or the coffee that I put in my cup. Like I compare it sometimes. I'm like, damn, this knowledge, I just got like so many diamond nuggets right here that are
You can do both.
they're directly correlating to my business, right? It's that dude, show up. Like just show up. You're gonna get half the business by just showing up, bro. And it's just like, well, why don't I try that? And then I just started showing up, bro. And it's like everything just started happening. Everything. Everybody's like, oh, okay. And so I really appreciate you guys driving me day in and day out, through your videos and through the different things that you say. Yeah, let them in. And then I want to thank you guys for the opportunity right now. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Well, thanks again. And we'll have you on again sometime.
Dude, thank you guys so much. And
Thanks
good,
again.
good thing
Take care.
didn't say do that quick because it's long-winded every time.
No, it was good. It was good. Thanks again, Aaron.
Thanks, guys.